All right, welcome everyone to our December pitch event. For those who don't already know me, my name is Aaron Stewart. I am CEO of VANTEC. Lindsay's on holiday time right now. She's in Palm Springs enjoying some relaxation, so it's just me tonight. But I do have the amazing team at BCIT and Actus Group and other volunteers helping us out today. So makes it super smooth, and of course Mark and Minjun at the back on the tech there, so thank you so much. Before we jump in, I'd like to acknowledge that it's with gratitude and respect that we're gathered here today on the traditional, ancestral and unceded territories of the Musqueam, Squamish and Tsleil-Waututh nations. There we go. We have some amazing sponsors and partners, and we wouldn't be here today if it wasn't without them. We carefully curate this group of sponsors to help the startups that come through VANTEC, and so we really know them well. We work closely with them and definitely put our name behind them as great people to work with. We're here at BCIT Tech Collider today, a really lovely spot, so we thank BCIT for having us today. And Keiretsu is one of our partners here, and really glad to have this partnership. We've got Greg in the room here if anyone's interested in learning a little bit more about Keiretsu. They are sort of the next step for entrepreneurs beyond VANTEC. We see them as sort of the pre-Series A to Series A for raising capital, and so really great coverage, a lot of investors that go there. It's a great place if you are looking at learning more as an investor as well to check out too. We are a community here at VANTEC, and so for those of you who are new here or thinking about joining VANTEC, we have a number of great benefits for being a VANTEC member. We have 11 pitches that we do per year every month other than August, and we do those mostly on the first Wednesday of every month. September, January, it's usually switched to the second Wednesday of the month. We have over 10 companies pitch at each of these events. Today we have 12, so you get more than 100 pre-vetted companies and also the opportunity to connect with peer angel investors and also promote your own events, your programs. We're here at VANTEC looking to promote great opportunities. And so those are early stage companies, those are funds, those are lots of different events and programs that might be of interest to you. And so we've got a few that we're going to talk about or introduce a little bit later today. And then we also have early access to our summer social. If you were there last year, you'll know that it was such an amazing event, and definitely you don't want to miss out on that. It sold out last year, so it's a coveted event. So definitely want to be a member to have that early access. I want to introduce our first company to everyone today. So I'd like to invite David Ferguson up from Social Venture Partners. I'll hand the controls over to you and let you take it away.
Thank you very much. My name is David Ferguson. I'm the board chair of an organization called Social Venture Partners Vancouver, or SVP. So I am pitching, but I'm pitching for a nonprofit organization, for not a for-profit investment, but a social investment. I'm here with my colleague, Helen Stortini. Helen is the CEO of Social Venture Partners Vancouver. I'll talk to you first about the need. We service organizations that service children and youth. We invest in organizations that service children and youth. We're a venture philanthropy organization. These statistics, 1 in 7 children growing up in poverty, that's from BC. That's this province. That's not some faraway place. 1 in 3 children showing up in grade 1 unprepared to learn. There's a lot of challenges for children and youth in our community. At the same time, demand for these services are going up for nonprofits, and nonprofits themselves are seeing volunteerism go down, particularly since COVID. So what do? We have a venture philanthropy model. We pull money together from partners and investors, and then we run a selection process, much like a venture capital firm might, to choose organizations that have the right fit, have a growth mindset, are looking to grow their impact and grow their services and the people that they work with. We do that using this 4 T's model that we talk about: time, talent, treasure, and ties. So it's not just about cutting a check to these organizations, a grant, which we do, but it's also alongside of that grant, we put in a significant amount of time and support in mentoring these organizations with volunteer time from partners such as myself and with other paid consultants. So what do? We focus on these types of organizations. These are the types of things that we look for. These might be fairly common to you when you evaluate startup organizations that you're investing in or that a venture capital firm might invest in. And we're looking to make significant impact on children and families and children and youth in our community. What is the big sort of secret sauce of SVP? We have a really tight selection process. That's important. As an individual philanthropist, you would have to do that screening yourself. But you could screen these organizations and make an investment and make a really big difference, and I encourage you to do so. What we do is we combine that dollar of investment together with time and support. So we wrap services around that. We give them support around everything from board governance to financial planning, and we help these organizations grow substantially and quickly to really help more and more and more children and youth in our community. So what we see is that dollar invested in cash results, even in the first year, an already doubling of the impact of that money in year one. So that's like a $2 investment at the end of year one. And of course, our relationships are often over 3 years, multi-year grant cycles. So these organizations are continuing to see that impact multiple years into the future. Just some quick stats before I finish. $12 million invested by SVP over the last 20 years. We've been around for a long, long time. We have over 145 donors. We've been supporting over 35 nonprofits in our community. Not all of them are in our active grant cycle right now, but we do have a very healthy alumni program. $500,000 in grants given out in 2024. 70 plus capacity building projects. So what I'm talking about there is, in addition to grants, we do a lot of work with these nonprofits. That's 70 different interactions with various nonprofits to help them grow and think strategically. We spent $350,000 on that programming in 2024 and generated over $2.5 million in value for our investees. These are some of the organizations that we support in our community. Some of them may be familiar to you. I would encourage you to follow up with us. If you're interested, Helen will be here to chat with you if this sounds like something that you might be interested in. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, David. Thank you so much, David. All right, just before we move on, I also want to just welcome everyone who has joined online. I know we've got a number of you joining, so thank you for being here. And just a quick note that we're having a little trouble with the webcam itself, but oh no, we're good. So everything should be all right. It may be a bit of a wide view, but you'll be able to see the presentations and hear everything just fine. The next community announcement that I would like to invite up to the stage here is Elaine Ann from Zenith Venture Studios, and I will pass over the controls to you. Here, we'll just switch over. Actually, there you go. You did it already. Here you are.
Thank you so much, Aaron. Hi, everyone. My name is Elaine, and we're from Zenith Venture Studio. Okay. So how many of you are investors in this room? Just quickly. Okay, startups. Okay, just so I get a sense. Okay, so what are the main pain points for investors? Is to maybe de-risk your investment, right? Because startup investing is maybe 98%, go bust in the first 3 years. And how about startups? What's your main pain point? Maybe finding a good co-founder, right? Like finding a good CTO, for example. So Zenith, we have a very unique model. We're not a VC. We actually have a VC business partner in our team. We're also not incubator accelerator, which provides a lot of mentors and everything, but doesn't help you build. We're right in the middle, okay? We help the founder, and we're looking for domain experts that can automate, traditional industries with AI and in B2B sectors. right? And then our team, we have a full team of tech, CTO, product manager, we have VC, we have product market fit, my expertise and user experience, and also CFO. We support the founder to build the startup, and then we will then have investments, right? So that will help you de-risk your investments. And also for the founders, it's a much easier path than doing it all alone. Okay? Yeah, so we're kind of we come in at the ideation stage, we have capital support, we do product market validation before we even start the business, okay? And then we will provide resources to build the MVP and also help build the team. Yeah, so here's all team members. Alex, he's here. He is a VC for like 15, 20 years. And our CTO is in the US. He has been in the business for over 20 years. So he has built systems like helping Boeing, and so if he turns off the server, the planes will fall. I myself, I have like 20-some years of experience helping Western tech companies in Asia like Google, Airbnb, Intel, Motorola. And we help them with product market validation before a line of code is written, okay? Jane, who has a lot of experience with founding tech startups, and also she's a product manager, and Cassie, she's a CFO. So this is our model. If you're a founder, come to talk to us if you want to build an AI B2B startup. We date with you first in the purple area, okay? We validate the market first. We'll talk to potential customers, like we will interview 15 of them at least to make sure the market actually wants this before investors come in to invest on the yellow side, and then we'll build it. So that is our model. So you can talk with any of us here, and thank you.
Thank you so much, Elaine. That's fantastic. And the next community announcement, I would like to invite Jeffrey Hansen up to tell us a little bit. Oh, actually, yeah, you know what? We'll do that because I've already invited you up. Apologies, Jeffrey. Thank you. To you.
So I wanted to, I think a lot of you know who I am. I've been an active in the community for a long time. I'm currently doing some, I'm on a mission to sort of give back to the community. I'm doing more and more of this stuff, helping companies amazingly without getting paid. So this event on the surface sounds like Jeff's going to show a bunch of boring charts, and then you're going to get to go have some Christmas cookies. But it's a little more than that, in that companies, I find, I've had this analysis that I've been doing for a number of years on who's investing and who's not. And I find it's very valuable. I've been spending a lot of time with the law firms and accounting firms to advise them of what these patterns and trends and things that are happening. And Ventures Lab has encouraged me to share this same insight with the entrepreneurs. So that's what this event's about. To show you there's patterns in terms of how deals are coming together, the types of investors, whether they're individual angels, family offices, or groups of angels, the seed funds and the VC funds, how they're all working together in that early stage. The valuations are changing. There's a lot of deal activity, but to many entrepreneurs, they tell me there's nobody investing, which is not true. And so that's why it's useful to see the data to see what's really happening. It's usually people are swimming in the wrong ponds. And I think it'll be interesting for me to present these slides, but it'll be even more interesting that there's going to be over 100 people here to network after the event. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much, Jeffrey. All right, now we're going to rewind slightly. I'm going to invite somebody else up to the stage here. Stanley, if you'd like to come up, I'd love for you to tell us a little bit about the book that you just published, Navigating Carbon Credits. Yes, give it up.
Thank you. This is the book. Just buy it.
Great.
Unfortunately, it's very expensive. I don't control the price. But in here are some gossips of what you guys have done. I've been collecting notes. You didn't know that, did you? So there's some stories in here. Of course, I cleverly tied it to carbon credits. All right. Anyway, I've been a member of VANTEC now for a long time. I cannot remember how long, but my we've known each other for a long time, Telzo. Enjoyed every minute. I look forward to every first Wednesday every month, and I encourage those who are not members, please be members. We need you. So anyway, this book, I wrote it because I have a project in Indonesia that's about 90,000 hectare large, and we have to grow trees, we have to help the people. There's about 20,000 families, and as I was doing the documentation for carbon credits, I learned how to do it. Now, I have to confess, I haven't got a ton yet, but I know how to do it. But this has opened a lot of doors for me. I don't think we have sold many copies, but it has opened a lot of doors. Plus, please help me buy some books. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Stanley. We love to see it, and thank you for that plug for VANTEC as well. All right, so we have a few other community announcements I just want to touch on quickly. The Western Angel Investment Summit held in Victoria by Angel Forum. I've gone the last couple of years. I just got my ticket. I booked my rooms at Oak Bay Hotel, and I gotta say, it's an experience. If you haven't done it, it's really, really fun. Great group of people. Just really feels like you're part of the community, so I definitely recommend coming out to this one, February 20th and 21st in Victoria. And then also New Ventures BC has their IP Pathways. This is more for the entrepreneurs in the room. If you're looking to learn more about your IP pathways, your strategies behind IP, definitely check this out. Hopefully we'll see more funding from the government next year like they did with Accelerate IP and IP Assist. But this is a really great program that New Ventures BC has put on. They have their session dates on December 5th, 10th, 12th, and 17th. All right. We also have our Startup Visa program. Jackson, would you like to say a couple of words about our Startup Visa program?
Thank you, Aaron. Yes, so we have a very exciting, Startup Visa program, and this is the grand finale of the year for 2024 for our greatest and bestest company from foreign entrepreneurs that are hand-selected by our VANTEC members themselves, and they have individually sought all over the world for the best. And so I would advise everyone that can come, please come. It will be held tomorrow, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you're a VANTEC member, a full VANTEC member, you should get a Zoom link, and then you can register. It's going to be fully online, and we have a very exciting list of events that will happen, and look forward to see everyone attend if they can. Thank you.
Thank you, Jackson. Thank you. All right, so getting to our pitches, and so this is our company feedback form. If you would like to express interest in any of the companies, use this form if you'd like to provide feedback. If you do show that you are interested, we will make that introduction to the entrepreneurs for you, and if you have feedback but don't express interest, we will still pass that feedback along. It's super valuable for the entrepreneurs, so do take a moment to take a screen grab of that. We should have some paper copies around as well. We have some great companies pitching today. So we have 6 90-second pitches, and we have 6 5-minute pitches with Q&A, and afterwards we've got our 5-minute presenters around at the tables here. They will be hovering with the crowd and networking as well. With the Q&A, I just want to remind everyone we've got people at home, so if you're going to ask questions, we do ask you to wait for the microphone to get to you so that everyone can hear that question. And so without further ado, I would like to invite Alan Burgess up to introduce us to Spraywerx and give us an update.
I'm Alan Burgess, founder and president of Spraywerx Technologies. We're an advanced materials company, and we've developed this ID Nova HUF gun technology for spraying wear and corrosion resistant coatings, and also used in the aerospace industry. I've personally got over 30 years of industrial experience, and we've been selling this technology for over 5 years now. But basically, the technologies, we combined our patented ID Nova spray torch with our proprietary powders. We combine these two things together, we create these coatings, and these coatings go into various applications, everything from aerospace to oil and gas, industrial, and clean tech. So our 2024 revenues are projected to be about $700,000, up from 2023. 2025 revenues are projected to be estimated about 2.5 million, with 1.2 already booked. And recently, we've had our recurring revenues increase quarter to quarter over 200%. We've also just started a Pratt & Whitney Instat project, and we as an invited partner. And this is to develop the next generation jet engine coatings. This will provide us over $500,000 of non-dilutive funding through 2026, and also give us some important aerospace qualifications. And it has to do with hydrogen-powered jet engines. So the deal is we're raising up to $500,000 at this round at a pre-money valuation of $7 million on a convertible preferred shares, 1x liquidation preference, and there's downside protection. Love to hear from you. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Alan. Definitely chat with Alan afterwards during the networking. Next up, I would like to introduce Sunan Spriggs of the TheDevFactory. I'll hand the controls over and take it away.
Every industry is being transformed by AI, and every industry is having to adapt in order to stay relevant. The global IT workforce is estimated at 50 million individuals with a 5 to 10% annual turnover, which means there are 2 to 5 million hires happening per year. This is a $125 billion opportunity. It's projected that in the US alone next year, there'll be 1.2 million software engineering jobs coming onto the market. The problem is recruiting technical talent is very time consuming, it's very expensive, and it's very difficult to actually identify the skill set of these candidates. Recruiters often depend on resumes for past experience, coupled with interviews that are often led by non-technical individuals trying to identify the skill set of highly technical individuals. Even the most tech-savvy companies that are leveraging coding evaluations are struggling with the prolific use of AI-assisted cheating. It's become very difficult to identify how good talent actually is. And this is a problem that's faced by staffing firms and tech companies. And that's where the TheDevFactory comes in. We have a platform of AI agents that are not only capable of sourcing candidates at scale, but also able to vet them for the contextual experience, the reasoning, the problem solving. We provide coding challenges, and we're even able to do best fit recommendations. But that's not what is most important. What is most important is that our evaluations take place in a fully locked down environment with visual proctoring to ensure that AI-assisted cheating cannot be done, and it preserves the integrity of the evaluations. And that's what's missing in the space right now. And that's what we believe. In order to make great hires in the AI age, you need to be able to measure the fundamental skill sets before the use of AI. Right now, we are in pilot with paid customers, and we are raising $1 million to help accelerate our product development and to help with our go-to-market strategy. If you're interested in learning more about the TheDevFactory, my name is Sunan. I am the co-founder, and I look forward to connecting with you.
Great job. Thank you so much, Sunan. Fantastic. All right. Next up, I'd like to introduce Matt Kane from Roostr.
Hello, my name is Matt Kane. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Roostr. I've also been a realtor in the Greater Vancouver area for the last 10 years, and I'd love to show you how my team and I are building the platform that will change the face of online real estate. There's a new generation of home shoppers, and they overwhelmingly consume their information and entertainment online. And for realtors and other home professionals, online content creation is now crucial for driving consumer engagement and leads. Existing real estate platforms, though, have not evolved to take advantage of this opportunity. So we are building the first property search, social media, and generative AI platform to take advantage of that opportunity. Roostr will give realtors and other home professionals maximum brand and content exposure to a targeted audience and give online home shoppers an unmatched online real estate experience. On top of my domain experience in real estate, my co-founder has 30 years experience in software development, and our team of developers, advisors, and investors have decades of experience in areas that are key to our success. We're raising $350,000 pre-seed round to complete development and to get to market traction as quickly as possible. Thank you, and I look forward to answering any questions about Roostr you might have after the presentations.
Fantastic. Great job, Matt. Thank you so much. All right. Next up, I'd like to introduce Peter O'Connor from Eagle Eye Search. Hand this over to you.
Thank you.
Take it away.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. My name's Peter. I'm the CEO of Eagle Eye Search. And we're building Eagle Zero, the AI for public safety. Responding to a hurricane, wildfire, or missing persons case requires sharing information with a team of people all efficiently in order to make good decisions. Time can be tight and mistakes can cost lives. First responders now have access to more information than ever. Being able to use online maps, spot weather forecasts, and aerial imagery is useful, but both personal experience and countless interviews have shown that it often goes unused. Why? Simply put, your average wildfire fighter does not have the time to be flicking between apps on their smartphone when there is a wall of flame approaching. The one tool that is universally used is the good old-fashioned radio. What if first responders could access all the information they need through a simple voice-based interface of a radio? We are entering an age of AI and ubiquitous connectivity where this has finally become possible. We are building Eagle Zero, a voice-based AI field assistant for first responders. How long will it take the helicopter to evacuate the crews? What percentage of Sector A4 has been searched? Eagle Zero integrates streams of radio chatter, online crew movements, and action plans to answer questions like these in seconds, bringing actionable information to those who need it when they need it. We're a team of 3 founders with backgrounds in AI, wildfire fighting, and business development. We have a track record of building AI tools for first responders, which are working around the world right now. And Eagle Zero is in prototype stage. We're targeting field testing in Q1 of 2025. We're right now looking for conversations with investors and industry connections for a potential seed round in Q2 of 2025. If you like what we're doing, we'd love to have a chat and see how you as an investor can help us build the tools of the future for first responders. Thank you.
Fantastic. Great job, Peter. All right. Next up, I'd like to introduce Ali Reza. I want to get your name right. Al-Kahani? Nailed it. Awesome. So we're going to be hearing about Suluk and Lumiere.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I'm Ali Reza, the founder of Suluk, and today I want to talk about Lumiere. Most of us have experienced a situation when we want to say something but couldn't the word, or even don't remember what we want to say. Millions of people around the world experience these difficulties every day, which result in dependency on family and caregiver, isolation, and depression. In US alone, more than 22 million cases have been identified with these. Traditional therapies, such as 101 therapy sessions, speech therapy sessions, are really helpful, but they are costly, hard to access, and limited due to the shortage of therapies. Alternative solutions like mobile app exist, but they are not comprehensive and engaging. This is where Lumiere comes in, a mobile app that helps people to regain their independence again. It's an AI-driven, AR-powered platform, providing accessible and personalized real-time speech therapy for an immersive and interactive experience. Now people have a chance to practice real-world scenarios at home and with safety and receive continuous and personalized therapy. We have completed a prototype and beta tested by therapists and ready for the next phase of test. In 5 years, Lumiere will become a multi-purpose therapy platform, generating over 30 million in revenue and having 100,000 active users. We are raising 100,000 in fund, seeking a lead investor to help us finalize the valuation and terms. We also seek for mentorship, industry connection, and business support. Funding will support the full product launch, clinical and research partnership, and expanding across multiple regions. Thanks for your time and your attention.
Very good job. Thank you, Ali Reza. All right. Next up, I'd like to introduce Wayne Fraser of Our Two Souls.
Allow me to introduce Our Two Souls. This is a new genre in dating app. We call it a relationship app, and its concept is very unique in its field. First, why are relationships so important right now? Many health organizations in the world, including the WHO, say loneliness is a crisis. The US Surgeon General agrees, saying that it's more lethal than smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Many people see relationships as a solution and turn to dating apps as the easiest way to engage with others. However, current choices fail. Great for hookups, but not for relationships. They are addicting, time-consuming, ineffective, and they leave people worse off than before. Here's some interesting stats on the current dating apps and the online dating market. As you can see, it's not working for millions of people. To make matters worse, many people aren't ready to date and fail in their relationships time after time. Or people meet others wanting a relationship, but their partners aren't ready. Our Two Souls provides a relationship solution for singles to find a partner and couples to have better relationships, all in one app. Our Two Souls is the right application at the right time. We're a fusion of dating and relationship self-help. Relationship only, we're the only one that does this. We provide shareable relationship readiness score to follow up with courseware. We have a new proprietary matching algorithm that is psychology-based, not attribute-based, and our anti-churn strategy to keep singles and couples engaged for the long term with relationship training and content. What we ask of you today is to join the community. Help us test the relationship readiness quiz, join our waitlist for the MVP launch, and watch for our pre-seed round in Q1 2025. Thank you so much.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Wayne. All right, so that is every 90-second pitch that we have today. We are now moving on to the 5-minute pitches, and first up, I would like to introduce Omar El-Neheni. I'm not good with those names, the Eheni at the end. All right, Omar, tell us a little bit about Fibernx.
Hi everyone, my name is Omar. I'm the CEO of Fibernx, and in Fibernx we produce for the very first time sustainable and low-cost carbon fiber. So a little bit about Fibernx. We are spun out of UBC. We have a research team of 14 people working at UBC right now developing technology. We have pilot plant capabilities there, and we have huge testing and prototyping facilities in UBC as well. So carbon fiber is the material of the future. It's one of the missing links for clean tech. Whenever anybody wants to manufacture something that is very high quality, they go to carbon fiber. Problem with carbon fiber, it is too expensive. Also, it's over-engineered and produces high emissions right now. What we do in Fibernx is we take oil and gas waste and turn it into low-cost carbon fiber at a third of the market price, and also 68% more sustainable, making it the most sustainable carbon fiber technology in the market so far. This discovery was made by Professor Yasmin and Scott, both professors at UBC. They're both recognized experts in carbon fiber, along with an impressive team of advisors equally recognized in their fields as well. So carbon fiber market and use cases, if it's moving and it's not made of carbon fiber, it should be. The only thing that is stopping it right now is cost. And we're breaking down that barriers. So use cases for this: sports equipment, automotive, marine, pipelines, pressure vessels, drones, and wind turbines. We're actually developing technology with 6 industrial partners right now. In sports equipment, we are one in Ohm, Ford in automotive and Hayes. We have in pipelines, we have total containment. And we're actually negotiating a big contract with one of the top global carbon fiber manufacturers in the world for 7,000 tons. We're developing for the carbon nanofibers. So also the beachhead markets for these sports equipment is about 240 million in North America. Just the battery case for automotive is about 600 million, and wind turbines is about 1 billion. And this is extremely disruptive to steel, aluminum, and fiberglass markets. We're working with a lot of people that are invested in us. We're part of a lot of accelerators, and we're working with Ford, as I said, Total Containment and Haze. Our position in the market is all the carbon fiber manufacturers are above $30 per kilogram. We're below $10 per kilogram, and they're all operating in the aerospace threshold. We're the only ones that are operating below the aerospace threshold. So this is actually 3 years in the making. The technology has been developing in UBC for the last 3 years. They raised total of 6.5 million in grants. In 2023, they raised 4 million. They validated prototypes. We have submitted 1 provisional patent. We're working with 4 industrial partners, and our research team was about 6 people. In 2024, we've validated pilot scale production. We filed 3 provisional patents and also signed a license agreement with UILO. Team of researchers is about 14 and 3 people working under Fibernx in the moment. Also, we're top 10 startups in NVBC for 2024. In 2025, we're going to start signing some contracts with the early adopters. We're going to limited production and sales and scaling up our production even more. Our projections are estimated to be 2025, we're going to operate from the demo plant that we said limited production. 2026, we're going to raise capital for our own demo plant to scale up our production even more. 2027 is going first production line for full manufacturing. And this is why you see the big jump from 2025 to 2026. We expect to be cash positive in mid-2027 and expect to have 2 production lines in 2029. For our next raise, we have to raising 1 million in pre-seed funding. Most of it is going to go into the plant design, also for personnel, rent, and legal. So we're raising 1 million on 8.5 valuation cap and 15% discount. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Amar. That was very interesting. I want to see if there's any questions in the audience here. So Bailey will bring the microphone and take it away. I'll give you the mic back.
Hi. What's the expected applications of this in aerospace, like satellites? Or I'm trying to understand the future of this production and how it can scale.
So thank you for your question. Aerospace actually is the majority of carbon fiber right now goes to aerospace. And it's a very limited market. So this is why we're not focused on aerospace. Although we can go into the internal parts, we're not going to the structural parts. So let me go back to this one. It's a very crowded space. Certification cycle is about 10 years. So it's going to take a very long time. And the entire production of carbon fiber right now is 160,000. You go to automotive, it's a completely different market. You go to wind turbines, completely different. So this can go up to millions of tons. The only barrier is just price. So we're not targeting aerospace for that reason.
Thank you.
Can you go back to your deal terms slide, the second last one? Any plans for follow-on fundraising rounds?
Yes, so we're actually raising this 1 million for match funding for other grants. We're very good at getting grants. We raised 6.5 million under UBC. Now is the time to raise funds under Fibernx itself. So for this, next year, we're going into a few grants that we have targeted. Also, we're planning to raise another capital for seed in 2026.
What makes the existing vendors of carbon fiber unable to produce at a more price competitive price point? And what kind of margins do they have on their existing production capability?
Excellent question. So first of all, operation margin now for manufacturers of carbon fiber in North America is about 4.9, about 3.4 to 4.9 for a very slim margin. This is why it's very crowded. It's very competitive in the aerospace and carbon fiber. They're using PAN, which represents about 94% of the market of carbon fiber, which is very expensive, it's cyclic, and about 53% of the cost. By eliminating that and recycling, using a waste stream, we're eliminating about 50+% of the cost right off the bat. Also, we're using some proprietary technology for thermal treatment, which makes it even more cost effective after that as well.
If the main value proposition is reduction in the price of the end product, as an example, how much can you bring down the cost or the price of high-end road bike?
So, excellent question. We are a materials company, so we provide the materials. So your $10,000 bike is, if it's just us, we're producing this, it will go by thirds, so 3,000 at least. And we'll have also very healthy margins at the same time. But carbon fiber is used, it's like steel. It goes into a lot of things. There are many forms of using it, usually composites or prepregs or anything. But again, it's just, we can sell this. The problem is other people, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, we cannot not control that. But it should have an effect at the end.
Mark's playing hard to get here. There you go.
Just a quick question. There is other competitors with the under $10 kilo right now. There's your competitors with the Alberta Innovation. They claim that. So what differentiates you from them? And
very good question. So we're part of the Between Beyond Combustion. This is the program from Alberta Innovation that provided most of the funding. There are 2 other companies that are in that same domain. They've been working on this for 8 years. One of them 8 years, one of them 5 years. And let's say an announcement has been done by one of the companies that they just reached 15 grams per day production, and we are now at least 4 kilograms per hour. So the technology is almost complete with us. They've been working on this for a very long time. We've been working on this for 2 years, and we cracked the code of carbon fiber.
Questions? We will have time afterwards for networking and questions, so stick around, Omar, and chat with everyone afterwards. Thank you so much. Give it up. Give it up. All right, great. Next, I'd like to invite Vivian Liu, right behind me here, to introduce us to May, aka Making Auto Easy.
Hello, everyone. All right. The car buying process is broken. I think we can all agree that for consumers, car shopping is really overwhelming. There's a ton of information, and dealerships can absolutely ruin the experience. But the reality is actually very tough for salespeople as well. After working in the industry for almost 10 years, I walk into dealerships now, and they're still doing the same things. They're manually filling out the same paper guest sheet. They're manually going onto the website, looking for the right vehicle to show you, and they're manually filling out the same basic information and putting it into the CRM. Dealerships are designed to be experience centers, but right now their experience is outdated and fragmented for both buyers and sellers. Sales teams are unequipped to succeed. They have to learn a ton of product knowledge, they have to deal with a ton of sales processes, and they have to deliver this amazing customer experience with the same tools that they've had for decades. The result, they are not effective, they're not selling enough cars, they get frustrated and they quit. High sales turnover is one of the biggest problems in the automotive industry. It impacts every single dealership, and it's really expensive. The real kicker here is that it takes 3 years for a salesperson to become productive, and yet the average tenure is only 18 months. That is a huge gap. May is an AI-powered sales assistant tool that transforms the car buying experience for both buyers and sellers in-store and online. We match customers to the right vehicles based on their customer profiling system, and which completely takes all of the guesswork out of the sales process. Now salespeople don't have to memorize endless specs. They don't have to fumble around through the resources trying to find the right vehicle and to answer your questions, and they don't need to manually input data. Now salespeople can systematically deliver a personalized and confident experience from day one without automotive experience. Long-term, May becomes the first fully digital AI broker, embedded throughout the entire automotive industry. Imagine a sales experience or a shopping experience where your unique customer profile follows you. It personalizes your experiences right from the very beginning and streamlines the rest of your car buying journey. You no longer have to tell your same story to every single person, every dealership, every website, every department. It now follows you no matter where you shop. As the industry evolves into digital sales, direct to consumer, new foreign brands that are more affordable, and potentially a no dealership model, our vertical SaaS platform is actually positioned for success beyond individual dealerships. Our current in-store sales enablement tool is the foundation for this larger vision. This is a low barrier solution that helps salespeople become productive in weeks, not months or years. In our very first dealership, we increased closing ratios by 20% after just 1 month of use. For new hires, they can convert at 26% rather than the 5 to 7% for the average new hire. And we're actually collecting 3 to 5 times more customer data than the traditional sales CRM entry, with actually less effort and less time. There are roughly 62,700 dealerships in Canada and US alone. Paying $1,000 a month, which is a business model they're all very familiar with, this represents a serviceable, obtainable market of $752 million just on this one module alone. We're currently in 2 dealerships with 2 more to start in the new year. With these 4 dealerships, these are 4 dealership groups that allows us to scale into 110 dealerships very quickly. The industry is very crowded with lead generation tools and lead management systems. But none of those tools focus on in-store success where they need it the most, creating personalized experiences at scale. Talking to dealerships and from my own experience in the industry working in General Motors, there's nothing like this that exists today. Our trajectory is realistic and achievable. Our path is very clear. We're going by 2 dealerships every single month, and we're already hitting those objectives. Our plan is to raise a pre-seed in 2026, break even in year 3, and a 10x return in year 4. That allows us to expand into enterprise and beyond. My experience managing a network of 80 different dealerships for General Motors, as well as head of marketing at AutoZen, provides us with true founder market fit. I found the expertise, technical expertise with an AI ML background to build and scale this product as well. And we have strategic automotive advisors that have deep automotive knowledge, including people with a proven track record of building, scaling, and exiting B2B SaaS companies to AutoTrader, as well as all of these people have connections to connect us to over 4,000 dealerships across North America. We're so excited to announce that we just kicked off our first angel round with 52% circled before we even started fundraising. This money is going to help us accelerate. It allows us to build our white label plug and play product and hit into 80 dealerships before the end of 2026. The auto industry is at a crossroads and it is ripe for disruption. Personalized digital experiences will no longer be optional. It will be absolutely key to success. Please join us in leading this transformation in the auto industry by making auto easy.
Fantastic. Thanks for that, Vivian. All right, so I don't see any hands shooting up, so I'm going to kick things off here and ask you how you're going to build a moat around this and win out over fast followers.
The reality is the information that we're getting is first-person data. So we're building a lot of proprietary data that we're using to build these smart tools for dealerships and customers. So that is part of that process for us, as well as the ecosystem. Building this hub and integrating with the ecosystem is an advantage for us versus some of the other systems that are like CRMs. They have exclusivity with dealerships, whereas we don't have that. We are a blanket statement that sits on top of their current systems, requiring no integration and no implementation.
Yes, we have one at the front.
Sorry, so are you targeting the end customers or the dealerships? Like
dealerships.
And how is the customer is getting in your say? From my understanding, is you're saying that you as a client, when you go into a dealership, your profile come in with you or something like that.
Once you've created your profile, one dealership, that your profile exists.
So I have to go to a dealership. And
not necessarily. Okay. So it depends on where your journey starts. For the dealerships that we're currently in, they can either start online or they can start in the dealership, regardless of where your profile is already built. If they go to another store within the same automotive group, they also have that profile for you. They don't need to ask the same information from you again. It's really beneficial in an auto mall setting where you only have 4 hours to visit all the dealerships that are there. You walk into every single one saying, I'm in a hurry, I don't have a lot of time. Give me the information that I need. This allows the salesperson to be able to absolutely do that unbiasedly without you having to do more work.
Are you in the lead generation business too, or no?
In the what, sorry?
Lead generation for their...
Not right now, no. Not the,
okay.
Yeah. But that is the intention.
Okay, thank you.
Question? We'll work our way back here.
I'm a little bit confused about how you are getting those data from one dealership to another one. Are you getting their consents to share their data with others? And what motivates them to share those data with competitors?
Yes, that's right. So if you walk into one dealership, your information goes into their CRM, that is their customer. Now, if you as a consumer walk into another dealership, rather than you having to explain everything, our intention is that you would scan your QR code, your profile is updated, you automatically get shown which vehicles at that dealership are a right match to you, down to your lifestyle, your budget, and all of those needs, versus you talking to the salesperson and them pushing the vehicle that they think they need to sell to you because their salespeople, their sales managers are telling you that's what you should buy. So so if you're going to, as a consumer, to another store, you're voluntarily showing your profile. You can speed up the process. You don't even have to talk to a salesperson if you don't want to. But for a dealership, if it's your customer, it is your information. You're not going to share it that way.
So you're saying that I'm creating my profile and then go shopping, or I don't understand how the journey flow works here. Like, where do you start with the? Is it starting with the customer? Is it starting with the dealership? Is it starting with the salesperson? Where the journey starts?
Sure. I'll tell you where the experience is currently. So you walk into a dealership, and rather than the salesperson trying to bombard you and you're not necessarily interested in talking to them, they'll bring out a tablet. It has our software on it. It is a web app, and you go through a series of questions. So you're essentially creating your profile right there. Rather than them asking and forgetting to ask the right questions, we systematically show you the types of questions they need to ask. That's one of the biggest problems. You walk into dealerships nowadays, they're still training salespeople on the most basic things of proper greeting, asking the right questions. Because if you don't ask the right questions, that directly impacts your closing ratio. We guarantee the right questions to be asked. Now the salesperson can either go through this process with you, depends on who you are. If you're like an elderly couple and you're not familiar with technology, it's just part of the conversation. Otherwise, we have a lot of people that are younger, in their mid-20s and 30s, they're the iPad generation. It is beep, 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 and they're done. That is the experience that they want, and it automatically shows them the 6 to 10 vehicles that are a direct match to what they're looking for. New, used, has the features, or it doesn't have it. Rather than relying on the salesperson to go, let me go into the website and find which vehicle it is. And if there's 15 of them, how do they decide out of the 15 which one is the one to show you? We automatically show you which one is the right one, highest compatibility, and the most likelihood for you to buy.
I think we had a question with Jonathan here, and then we'll come back for the last question.
Before you realized that this is the business model, did you have other attempts at satisfying this market?
Have you seen my pitch before? No. So previously, before the summer, May was a consumer-facing marketplace. So the business was a car shopping platform built for women by women in the automotive industry. It was like online dating, but for cars. We build your profile and match you to vehicles. Now we do that in dealerships. So we pivoted from a double-sided marketplace into B2B SaaS.
So like Unhaggle?
So funny enough about Unhaggle, that is the co-founder of Unhaggle is one of our strategic advisors. Unhaggle works a little bit differently. Yes, they are consumer facing. So you would essentially pick a vehicle or the types of vehicle that you're looking for, and they would put it onto an auction where they would find prices and sell you. They were essentially selling leads. We're not a lead generator. We're specifically software in dealership that allows them to be able to onboard customers faster and get them through the buying journey, getting more information a lot faster than they would normally get. But the intention is we can expand to that.
All right, and we got a last question just to the front here.
Great speaker, by the way. Good presentation. My question is, your $1,000 a month for your subscription fees from the dealership. What is the lead time for onboarding all the cars? Different cars come in at different time. How often do you guys refresh? What is your customization per dealership? Is it included in your $1,000 subscription fees? And then also, how fast is it AI driven to actually sift through all the different cars that is coming in, that is leads, that is financing, or whatever you're taking over, whatever profile it is? So the onboarding and the implementation of each dealership, is it come with the $1,000? And how do you overcome that difficulties of new inventory coming in every day?
So our system automatically refreshes inventory several times a day, starting at 8 a.m. We look at roughly when they upload vehicles, and it does it automatically, which is the benefit because if you're a salesperson and you're not up to date, because sometimes they're inherently lazy. If a vehicle arrived last night and it never showed up on the website, we already have it to be able to say, oh, this is a great vehicle that would be good for you. I didn't even know that it was here, and it's happened over and over again. So implementation actually is really quickly. There's two ways we can do it. Either we scrape the information off the website, which is one of the things that we do, but our plug-and-play version is we essentially buy the data from JD Power. We have access through a VIN decoder, and we have systems that we can connect to on their dealer management system. It's a DMS that tells us what vehicles have arrived, and it's the fastest way for us to find out which vehicles are there. And your other question was about the AI piece. Yes, that is the pricing that we currently have. As we continue to scale, there is going to be implementation costs, but right now there's not a lot of work for us. It's actually very easy for us to do. And this plug-and-play version that I'm talking about that uses a VIN decoder, we've actually already mapped this tool out when I launched this at the Vancouver Auto Show at the beginning of March. So now we just essentially have to buy the data, and we can walk into any dealership and implement this like that.
Thank you.
Fantastic. All right. Next up, I'd like to introduce Louis-Philippe Bernier to introduce us to CereCura.
Hello, everyone. So I'm Louis-Philippe Bernier, or LP for short. I'm CEO of CereCura Nanotherapeutics. We're a biotech developing novel drugs for brain diseases. So it's no surprise for everyone that brain diseases are a huge health problem. It's estimated that about 1 person out of 10 suffers from a severe brain disorder. And the worst part about it is that conventional drug modalities have generally failed at treating the brain. But why? Because we actually know a lot about what causes brain diseases. We know of specific proteins that are dysfunctional and causative of diseases, so simply replacing those or supplementing their levels back to normal is a very attractive approach. And in fact, these strategies actually work in the rest of the body. However, they don't work in the brain. And that's mostly because of a delivery problem. So we actually know of proteins that would be beneficial in the brain, but the blood-brain barrier that protects the brain basically prevents us from bringing proteins to the brain. So our approach at CereCura addresses that delivery challenge. So we use RNA to essentially instruct a subset of brain cells to become protein factories inside the brain itself, within the blood-brain barrier. So that way we can achieve brain-wide distribution of proteins in the brain and a sustained delivery of proteins as well. And the best part of our approach is its versatility. So it's not just one drug, it's a plug-and-play system that we can adapt into multiple drugs for multiple types of brain diseases. So by simply modifying the RNA that's in our product, we can target the same cells and instruct these cells to produce virtually any secretory protein that has therapeutic value for the brain. And there's no shortage of those. So we can, for example, replace enzymes that are dysfunctional and causative of sometimes fatal lysosomal storage disorders. We can provide the right growth factors to support regeneration after injuries like stroke. We can provide the right cytokines to manipulate the immune system to treat brain cancers and lots of other applications in the brain. I'm going to skip through a lot of scientific data that we got that got us to this point, but where we are right now is that we're growing a pipeline of drug assets using our LNP mRNA strategy. We're focusing on our initial lead asset in lysosomal storage disorders. We're at candidate optimization stage in preclinical models right now. This is a lead indication for us that not only gives us a valuable drug asset, but most importantly acts as a proof of concept for the entire strategy. So it really validates our approach that can be applied for other therapeutic areas in the brain. So the market opportunity for what is essentially a new drug or a new way to treat brain diseases is enormous. We're focusing on rare diseases initially on the left here, but we have discovery programs in other therapeutic areas that have much larger markets. These are all areas that have very high unmet medical needs and very little current treatment options. So they are very attractive for pharmaceutical companies who want to move into these markets. And that really shows in the recent acquisition trends. So neuro is hot. Pharma companies are really looking into new, different ways to treat the age-old problem of the brain. And our solution not only is different, but it actually uses a new RNA modality that is currently revolutionizing the way we treat diseases in general. So for example, a good example is that we've all received LNP mRNA vaccines recently for COVID. So our strategy here is really to position ourselves as the only biotech that's focused on adapting this novel RNA modality to the unique challenges of the brain. So we're a preclinical company right now. Our most likely exit scenario is an acquisition, being acquired by a pharma company. Our target is to have first-in-human trials within 5 to 6 years, and for a platform and adaptable technology like ours, this is where we're going to be the most attractive for pharma companies to acquire us. And how do we get to that point? So we currently have the funds to keep optimizing our platform, and that's done with a few tech development partners for certain aspects of our products. But our next step that we've already started is really product development. So we're pushing our lead asset towards therapeutic efficacy in animal models of diseases, and we want to validate the entire platform in larger animals as well. So these are two key inflection points that will really not only validate our first asset, but really validate the entire platform and validate our technology that's essentially a new way to treat brain diseases. And to get us to that point, we're raising $1.5 million on a $10 million valuation. That includes follow-on participation from our pre-seed investors, Hex2, and it includes a lot of non-dilutive fundings as well that we have secured. We've applied for a lot more, and we'll keep applying for more as well. Down the road, we're going to need another round in 2026 to bring us to candidate nomination for a few LNP RNA assets. And each program for IND-enabling studies, we estimate is going to cost around $8 million, and that brings us to IND and first-in-human trials. And to do this, we have a fantastic founding team that merges extensive neuroscience expertise with with a lot of experience in nanomedicine, drug development, and commercialization as well. We're growing our R&D team with motivated scientists that really share our mission. And to wrap up, what we're developing here is a transformative way to treat brain diseases. We have an efficient R&D platform, a drug that is redosable, that's safe, that's scalable, but importantly, we're the only modality that can deliver therapeutic proteins to the brain with the right distribution and for the right duration. Thank you.
Fantastic. Great presentation, LP. All right. Any questions in the crowd? All right, Mike, we'll grab the microphone so those at home can hear.
Can you just explain a little bit further why you're the only ones that can do this when others can't?
There's a lot of companies that work in the same RNA modality space, and the most well-known ones are Moderna and BioNTech that generated the vaccines. The neuroscience aspect of it is very peculiar, and it's known to be a difficult space to work in for drug development. So the RNA companies out there are not focused on the brain. And companies that focus on the brain traditionally for drug development are not using this new modality. So we're really trying to put both together here. There's a lot of other modalities that are being developed for similar brain diseases. There's viral delivery. I mean, we can go into details of scientifically why ours is a better fit for the indications that we're going for. Obviously, a lot of indirect competition, but so far as we know in terms of publicly released information, we're the only ones who use this RNA modality for the brain specifically.
I'm going to ask a question here. How long have you been working on this, and what was the aha moment?
There was actually, so I'll talk about the team a little bit if I can go back there. Yeah, so I've personally have been a neuroscientist for more than 15 years, if you include my PhD. We have 3 neuroscientists on the team, Dr. Willinger, who's here tonight, and Dr. Meg Vicker, another co-founder. Together, we have more than 70 years of experience basically studying what goes wrong in brain diseases. But we really started working with Dr. Peter Cullis, who's behind a lot of the lipid nanoparticle technologies, including some of his technologies that were licensed to Pfizer for the COVID vaccine. We started working with him about 5-6 years ago, around the time where RNA therapeutics were becoming more mainstream, and we're going to become even more mainstream with the vaccines. And we really tried to leverage his new technology to the problems of the brain specifically. It started as it often is in science, it started as we tried to use RNA to go this way. And from the first experiment that I did, I still remember being at a microscope, it completely went the other way. But it was another way that was much more interesting. And right away we pivoted and we thought, you know what, this has a lot of commercialization potential. Let's focus on this new strategy, which basically become CereCura. We spun off the company a little more than 2 years ago. We're still working in close partnership with UBC, so that gives us access to a lot of academic, non-dilutive funding as well, a lot of infrastructure, and yeah.
Also? Oh, yeah, sorry, go.
Yeah, thanks for the presentation, LP. Can you tell us a little bit more about your commercial partnerships?
Yeah, so we're working, so LNP RNA drugs are very complex products. There's a lot of expertise that's needed on the lipid development of the lipid carrier, a lot of expertise that's being developed by tons of different companies on the RNA modifications as well. So we're partnering with a Vancouver company. Vancouver is a world-leading hub for lipid nanoparticle development. So we're partnering with a local company called Nanovation Therapeutics that are developing novel modifications or novel lipids to make a better carrier. Same thing on the RNA. We're partnering with a company in Montreal that's co-founded by Nobel Prize laureate Drew Weissman that are developing the best modifications for RNA constructs. So we're putting all that together, licensing some aspects, and developing this as a drug in neuroscience in the brain specifically.
Last question with Elzel. The microphone's right
Hey, thanks for that. If you can roll back to your slide where you show your, very good, the roadmap of all, no, back a little further where you talk about the different disease states. Because could you explain why you chose lysosomal diseases as the first beachhead and how they bridge to the other diseases? Like what is the technology that leads you to the other diseases?
The commonality is that each of these diseases, for each of these diseases, there are known proteins that would be beneficial, and we've never been able to bring these proteins to the brain. We're working with lysosomal storage disorders initially because these are monogenic disorders that are caused by one enzyme, which is a protein, that is dysfunctional, and all we need to do is replace this enzyme. And that strategy has been used to treat these diseases. Every symptom of these diseases that are not brain-related can be fixed by enzyme replacement therapy. It's been around for a long time. But enzyme replacement therapy, the enzymes cannot get to the brain. So we know that producing the enzymes in the brain and delivering the enzymes to the brain would be therapeutic. It's really just that delivery challenge. And that's the best fit with our strategy because that's the solution that we're bringing here.
Thank you so much, LP. I appreciate the presentation. Great questions as well. All right, next up, I'd like to introduce Jeff Van Dyke to introduce us to Gravitii.
Have you thought about what you'll need as you grow older? Do you have a family member who wants to stay in their own home but needs support to do so? Are you one of the millions of Canadians already juggling the responsibility of caring for an aging relative? What if finding a qualified caregiver was as simple as booking a hotel room? That's where Gravitii comes in. We connect you with local professional home care providers, empowering you to take control and choose the best care for your loved ones. Now imagine balancing a full-time job, raising children, and still finding 14 hours each week to care for an aging parent or loved one. This is the reality for 1 in 4 adults today. Canada is home to over 7.5 million seniors, a population growing at 4 times the rate of any other. Nearly half of those aged 85 and up rely on daily assistance, yet the system designed to support them is fragmented and often frustrating. Unfortunately, the current system is missing the mark. When care is available, it's often delayed, unreliable, or only addresses part of the support that families need. Gravitii solves this by giving control to the family caregivers. We fill in the ever-expanding gaps, making care accessible when the traditional system is unable to deliver. The Gravitii platform is an easy-to-use online marketplace that puts the power of choice directly into the family caregiver's hands. Our technology seamlessly matches you with the best available care providers, accommodating personal preferences and unique needs to enhance the caregiving experience. Gravitii supports long-term relationships by offering tools to both clients and providers that streamline ongoing interactions, all while keeping users engaged on our platform. Since our inception, we've hit key milestones that validate our progress, from funding to product development and market validation. We released our MVP in September of 2023 and have followed up now with 8 feature releases that address client and provider feedback. To date, we focus most of our outbound efforts on building the supply side of the marketplace. We've grown the provider user base by 15 to 20 per week and now have over 1,100 care providers across BC. Our client market validation efforts have been rewarded with strong positive feedback from seniors, family caregivers, and industry partners. We've also completed a small-scale pilot in the Okanagan region, which resulted in successfully booking and delivering 170 hours of care. We're now focused on developing our playbook for a scalable go-to-market model in targeted regions across BC. The home care market is valued at over $10 billion and is projected to grow significantly as our population ages. Our initial target audience of family caregivers are individuals with the financial means to secure quality care for their loved ones. These customers value control, reliability, and convenience when arranging care. We've chosen to market initially through independent living communities. These communities present a captive market of seniors and their families that are already planning their future care needs. With Gravitii, care providers set their own rates, and we charge the client a 15% service fee. Based on our revenue model, we expect the growth to start slowly and then ramp up into 2026 with a targeted break-even in early 2027. At this point, we expect the company to self-sustain continued growth, but will consider future funding rounds to accelerate this growth with a preference for non-dilutive sources. By 2029, we expect to be attracting attention from potential acquirers The most attention will likely come from large home care companies, as well as other technology-focused businesses in the health and home care space. My name is Jeff, and Gravitii is the third technology startup that I've been involved with. My last company, we grew my last company from, grew our last company organically to 3.7 million ARR, and then sold it to a publicly traded company in Montreal in August of 2021. Our team is highly skilled and driven by our passion to help people. From technology to industry experience, we are a well-rounded team with the tools to make Gravitii successful. We've also assembled an informal advisory group from our early investors. In this round, we're raising $750,000 at a $3 million pre-money valuation. We're an EBC eligible corporation. We're targeting, with this, we'll have a 24-month runway to fuel growth and development. And we're targeting $100,000 in annual revenue by the end of 2025, break even in early 2027. And we'll also be developing strategic partnerships to help expand our reach across Canada and strengthen our market presence. Thank you for your time today, and I look forward to working with some of you.
For a second. Great job, Jeff. Thank you so much. So, any questions in the audience? Yes, Jonathan, kick us off.
Hey, I love what this is, you know, sort of on-demand caregivers, and, you know, people fall and have a break and then they can't go home until they set up caregiving. I don't understand why you need to raise money. So this is not, so what I'm basically an honest question. So there's a high demand. And so I'm trying to understand, where's the cost that you need to finance?
Sure, good question. I think the answer to that might be a little bit complicated, but I'll summarize it in that the home care industry is an interesting industry in Canada. It's a fee-for-service industry that is generally unknown by a lot of people until they are in a position where they actually need care. So there is some education involved in our go-to-market strategy. We have to build trust in the industry so that people feel comfortable working with us and using the technology to book home care. All of that takes time and effort to build that out. So most of our funds will go to the marketing and business development side of things.
Questions, I will steal the mic and ask you a question here. So tell us a little bit more about the pilot that you've completed, and if you were able to get customer feedback, what you have learned through that pilot already.
Excellent. Yes, the pilot was an interesting experience. It validated some of our assumptions, which was great. People were very interested in the choice that was available. Taking some care into their own hands was something that people valued. We also learned that one of the main reasons why we will have churn is to do with our seniors going into an assisted living situation or long-term care, or unfortunately when they pass away. So that is something that we're going to have to deal with. The other thing we learned is that for the majority of cases, they're interested in a long-term relationship, not just one-off. We start off the relationship really well, taking care of individuals in gaps where the current system is unable to support them, but at that point they want to stay working with that same care provider for the continuity of care.
Looks like the rest of the questions are saved for networking. So
Awesome.
Thank you so much, Jeff.
Thanks, everyone.
Fantastic. Next up, I'd like to introduce Alicia Vandergraat to tell us more about QuantoTech. Pass it over to you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Alicia Vandergraat, founder of QuantoTech. And we're a vertically integrated urban farming company. And we've developed this disruptive, decentralized farming model, as well as the technology that allows us to do it. So you're also probably wondering who Northern Greens is, and that is our produce brand. I'm not going to waste too much time with the problem. I think we all understand the population's growing, the arable land is not growing with us. We're going to have to figure something out to keep feeding the population. So our solution, in part, is this hub and spoke farming model. So how it works is we have the main hub, in our case right now here in Vancouver, it's out in Cambie, and that's where a lot of the attributes that have economies of scale need to take place. So think seeding, propagating, cleaning, that sort of thing, as well as our wholesale sales. Then that hub farm also supports spoke farms, and those are located in places like office towers, residential towers, and that's where the final stages of growth take place for any of the products that are going to be sold direct to consumer. And that would be happening through our self-serve kiosks. So this is by farming so locally, we're able to increase revenue of over 450% in the case of wholesale and over 900 in the case of direct to consumer, just by growing so locally that we're cutting out all those middlemen. So a little bit more background on the traditional produce value chain. So for the most situations, including more traditional vertical farms, they're following along this model where only 8 cents on the dollar goes to the farmer. With our model, we now get 45 cents on the dollar and when it comes to wholesale and 80 cents when it comes to retail. So this is a huge improvement. The team, so we have me. I've been in the industry for over 10 years. I'm pretty decent at getting non-dilutive funding. Gary, our CTO, he's launched dozens of products, of course, including our own IP and technology. Nandish is our head grower. He's actually increased our marketable crop from 60%, which is, believe it or not, the norm when it comes to vertical farms, all the way up to 99%, which is honestly unheard of. And then we have Peter, our chairman, sitting in the back there, and he has had 10 plus successful exits, so when the time comes to get our money back, we'll be able to do so. So as I mentioned, a big part of this business model working is our equipment. So we have developed everything you see here. This is in a warehouse on a second floor out in Canby. Everything from the lights, the control systems, the pump controllers, the grow recipes, everything that you need, we have designed, and it's all our own IP, including our specialty nutrient mix. So this is what allows us to grow within 100 square feet all the way to 10,000 square feet. So we're really focused on that small and medium-sized deployment. And this is what allows us to have these spokes that go in underutilized spaces. So in this case, we're getting, even though we're downtown where market, of course, is a little crazy on the real estate, we're able to get, in some cases, free, and in other cases, severely reduced lease costs because we're able to add an amenity and we're able to add tax benefits. We're actually going to be the first in BC as an indoor farm to get farm status. So market opportunity, I mean, everyone has to eat, so it's going to continue. I'm just focusing on lettuce right now because it's easy, and we import over $700 million worth of lettuce every year, pretty much entirely from California, and that accounts for over 95% of the lettuce we eat. So just with that alone, it's a huge market in Canada, but of course we have global ambitions. And even though I say that our competition is imports, I will still briefly mention that as far as vertical farm goes, they are traditionally doing leafy greens in more bagged or baby or microgreen format, whereas we do full-size living field equivalent produce. So more than just lettuce, chard, basil, cilantro. We just started mushrooms. And we're actually using the mushrooms to generate CO2 for the plants to grow faster. So we got a big grant for that too. All part of the fun R&D we do. So customers, we've been sold out for 3 years. We just onboarded Whole Foods. Anyone that recognizes me from Angel Forum, I was talking about this about to happen. We've now done it. And they actually ended up buying, I think, 4 times more than I had budgeted. So we're actually quite oversold right now. And then just yesterday, we went into our Pendrell Bosa location for our self-serve kiosk. So as far as milestones go, we've gotten all the certifications, everything you need, Canada GAPS, GFSI, all the licensing you need to actually grow lettuce. All of that's done. We've proved our technology works. We proved our price points. We proved our cost points. Now we're focused on scale up. So our growth has been pretty consistent here. It's really just a factor of how many grow shelves we deploy, and that's just as a factor of how much equity and debt we put towards that. So our international expansion, I've been spending some time out in California. We work with Perkins & Wills, who's actually designed us into one of BOSA's new developments, and this is allowing us to get access to that global market expertise, because like I said, we have global ambitions. So right now, if you might have noticed from the Angel Forum, I did expand our seed round. Originally, I was going to do 2 million, but after talking to the California investors, their sweet spot is that 1 million ARR. So I've raised the seed round to 3 million. We actually have 1.7 million placed now as of yesterday. And we're doing common shares. We're EBC, I think that's what it was, eligible. And we're going to be going after our Series A in Q1 2026. And our current valuation is 7.5, so I'm going for quite a large jump up for that Series A valuation. And that's everything. So if you want to learn more about us, or if you want to take one of the free samples, come talk to me after. Thank you.
Great job, Alicia. And yeah, you can see them on the table there, so definitely take a look afterwards. Cam, why don't you kick us off here?
Sure. Thanks for the presentation. I'm curious about how fast you can throw one of these up and take it down again.
4 months.
Sorry, 4 months?
4 months from scratch if we don't have any of our supply chain actively going.
And can you tell us a little bit more about your intellectual property? You were pretty clear that you own all of it. Are you patenting any of it?
Yeah, we're going through the patent process right now. Some has to remain trade secrets though, because we do not want to let anyone even see what we're doing.
Tell us about your competitor in this space, because I know Cubic Farm was doing this long before you guys.
We actually used to work with Cubic Farm.
So what happened? Yep.
I can't speak for them directly, of course. They kind of stopped doing R&D though. Basically, when we were working with them 10 years ago, 11 years ago, that same equipment is what they're using today. Things change. We're constantly adapting our technology. And that's really where this hub and spoke model really helps, because hey, we jump into a hub, it's 3 million. A spoke, maybe it's only 100,000, depending on the size of the spoke. And the cost of our equipment is only 2K, because we do it at cost. So we have a payback of only 2 years. So we have a quick payback, but then we're also constantly doing R&D. So now, okay, so those ones are locked in now with that equipment, but now I'm opening up another hub, and now I'm doing the newest and most improved high-tech technology that we've developed since, and that's going into that one. So every single hub and spoke deployment is just better than the last.
How about the competitor in this space right now?
A lot of the competitors aren't doing so good. There's been several that have went out of business, and that's because they're playing in the traditional value chain. They're still playing along with what field market has generated as far as the value chain goes, except now they're turning it on the vertical side and adding a whole bunch of cost. So that's the struggle. They're trying to build out these $30 million, $50 million farms out in the middle of nowhere, and now they're paybacks over a decade.
Thank you.
Do you see the people who are giving you this free real estate? Like that's a pretty precarious. I'm not sure if you should call them partner, because like why would they continue helping you when you're more than just like a novelty? So once you are like, oh, these guys have money, we could just squeeze them. And Class A office is much more expensive than Surrey.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes down to it, it is semi-permanent. We'll get contracts in place so that they don't just boot us out the next day. But we're giving them farm tax benefits that lowers their cost significantly in places that they couldn't lease out. So it's not some nice fancy building like office space. No, it's some really unfortunate closet in the basement or in the parkades.
And do those places have, you're probably going to need like 3-phase power and all kinds of HVAC?
No, we don't need 3-phase like that. We basically play within what the building allows. So there's 3 components: power, of course, space, so how much we can fit into what they're providing, and then demand. What's the demand in the building or the immediate neighborhood? So it's with that 3 kind of stages of or spokes of the stool or whatever. That's how we decide on the deployment. And what's really cool about our technology is that we've developed this grow recipe system, so we can take the data from the electrical usage of a building. We know when it spikes, we know when they use it, and we can adapt our grow recipes to not have any impedance on the actual building's operations.
All right. Last but not least, we have Greg Booth to tell us more about circular industries. So Greg, I'll hand the controls over to you. Let you take it away.
Good evening. My name is Greg Booth. I'm the founder and CEO of Circular Industries of Canada. Welcome to this presentation on pitch on our aerial firefighting technology. In acknowledging First Nations, we also bear witness to the hazards they face. In 2023, 83 First Nations communities faced evacuation orders, some multiple times. I'd also like to share with you my motivation. This is Devon Gale, and I found her bravery outstanding, but she perished while fighting forest fires. Devon was one of 6 forest fighters who perished in 2023. Also, my concern for family and community in the interior of this province. The behavior of forest fires is changing, escalating, due to the increase in temperature, lower humidity, drought, and more lightning strikes. It is becoming common for fires to start and escalate overnight. The problem is our contemporary forest fighting methods are limited in addressing new fire behavior. Forest firefighting doesn't operate at night, in poor conditions, or difficult terrain. CereCura Industries' solution is a fleet of autonomous fire-suppressing UAVs. The value proposition is unique. 24/7 operations in all conditions, covering an extensive area. The fleet is rapid, it's precise, and it's affordable. The fleet is made up of surveillance and suppression UAVs, a mobile command center, and operational AI for navigation and ops planning. A truck pulls the mobile command center. By using existing road networks, a fleet can cover a large area and deliver hundreds to thousands of liters of suppressant. Since beginning in 2023, we've spent thousands of hours validating the idea, technical pre-feasibility and feasibility analysis, and research and development on the proof-of-concept prototype, testing, and field trials. We've now arrived at the operational UAV. We are getting ready to transition from design to fabrication. We know the design has unique elements, and we filed for a patent application for the vehicle's technology, software for navigation, and the suppressant system. We're targeting a serviceable market of $700 million per year, an obtainable market of $350 million per year. This estimate is based on planning equipment spending and aerial firefighting budget lines. This obtainable market, though, does not include municipal fire departments and private company spending. Another important growth indicator is the global firefighting aircraft market, which is now approaching $14 billion annually and expected to grow at 9% annually. CereCura has competitors in the UAV fire suppression space. Our competitors' equipment is similar to helicopters in cost and function. I know that we can deliver more suppressant at a vastly lower cost than any of our competitors. I now want to highlight CereCura's leadership team. I assembled a core team to design and build, and we've been together since the fall of 2023. I've also brought on experts in firefighting, engineering, and governance. Our strategy is based on targeting sector groups and building relations with key informants, such as Indigenous leaders, mayors, and CEOs, and in meeting with decision makers, such as fire chiefs for presentation and discussing our technology. From the beginning, we've been collaborating with Mosaic Forest Management, who actually controls over 50% of the southern half of Vancouver Island. And we're now focusing on field operations and actually haggling over the cost of a fleet. CIMC is reviewing the technology and the operational options. With the Saanich Fire Department, we've begun to discuss demonstrations and field trials in highland areas. The Mayor of Colwood, Doug Kobayashi, is an ally and will lead the introduction of municipal fire chiefs in Victoria's capital region for presentations and discussions on watershed protection, the clean water supply, and CereCura's fleets. Our milestones focus on investment, building the fleet, field trials, sales, and manufacturing by the end of 2025. We will break even in 2027 and increase revenues in 2028 and beyond. The financial projections mirror the operational strategy to increasingly outsource manufacturing and expand production in key markets. We are raising $700,000 to realize these key accomplishments. This will set CereCura on a firm foundation to commence commercial activities. Thank you.
Great job. Thank you so much, Greg. Do we have questions? Yes, we've got one at the front here, and then we'll go to Richard afterwards. Pass it over.
Thank you for the great presentation. You didn't actually really sort of say how you're going to position the fleets. I imagine the drones are in the air, aka a loitering munition type of thing, looking for a fire. But you didn't actually say whether the fleet of suppression drones are sitting on the ground. Are they within a certain radius? How many trucks per units do you have to have? And what kind of a square mileage do they cover from that point?
Thank you. Thank you for your question. To clarify, the fleets are actually housed in the mobile command unit, which is over a 26-foot trailer. And that'll actually be stationed at a fire department, or actually in our aspiration, is with a wildfire agency. And on notification, which is through more contemporary means of satellite identification, such as Google's Fire AI, they'll be able to rapidly travel close to the fire area and launch from there. So they're able to, we can see that in the Kelowna region, is that there is actually fairly close proximity to a fire from a roadway or traveling from a roadway, at which point they launch from there, and they'll be traveling as a fleet of eight drones, and they'll basically, that's 80 liters of suppressant, they recharge. But they're actually, as they're using, and they're mixing with a chemical suppressant, it triples that. So basically, there's a continuous cycle that'll occur. And as you can see, depending on the site, this is what we've been able to spec so far. This will be the ability to deliver thousands of liters of suppressant precisely to an early stage fire.
Thank you. Interesting presentation. One of my kids was a firefighter for 4 years. My house backs onto open forest. So I'm just wondering at what scale this needs to be done. Is this sort of provincial? Is it done within, you've talked about the fire district. Can this be done within a town? Could this be even right down to the individual saying, hey, I want to protect my own personal property?
Well, that's a great question, because our first strong interest right from the beginning was mosaic forest management. So they're actually their own interests. Although there's an extensive area, they're really looking for certain areas where they know there's lightning strikes. But continuing, our aspirations so that Enderby, for Salmon Arm, for Chase, for 100 Mile House, for communities, small communities across BC, they can afford this because a full fleet will be less than the new, these 4x4 wildfire trucks that are being bought by fire agencies all over the province. So yes, you can, if it's a small community, it's even a neighborhood who decides they want their own fire suppression equipment, they can buy that.
You mentioned at one point that you can do this work a lot cheaper than some of your competitors, and it looks like you're aware that there's lots of movement in this space with drone fire suppression, et cetera. I wonder if you could talk about your unit economics a little bit. How does, what do the numbers look like? How do you make it cheaper?
I think one of the reasons we can make it cheaper is that our equipment is actually built to be within the technical capacity of a volunteer fire department. Someone with a drone license, someone with technical capabilities. A volunteer fire department will actually be able to use this and drive it out. So right then, we have existing human capacities there, and even for larger funds. We also, when you look at a Bell 412 helicopter, that costs $4,600 an hour to operate. When we go out to fight fires, there's actually essentially no running costs in terms of the use of fuel, the need for mechanics and backup and what have you. So this is why it's substantially cheaper and actually allows many more organizations to be able to participate or to actually own their own aerial fire suppression.
Question down with Abdul at the front here.
Sorry, so those drones, they are autonomous completely? Like, how do they identify the fires, the area where to target, or is there somebody who's basically driving them? Or
thank you for your question. So there'll be a pre-identification of a fire, especially with, there is contemporary satellite tools that allow identification and approximate the latitude and longitude. Once that happens, there'll be an identification, is it actually a hot spot, in which case the fleet is transported in close proximity to that fire. And at which point, the lead drone will be, the lead will be the surveillance UAV, which will fly out to basically define the perimeters of that fire, and therefore will actually start to create an operational plan for the rest of the fleet to follow, and it'll be able to divining that operational plan to suppress autonomously. As we know right now, which is kind of the rage instead of fireworks, is these drone shows where all of these drones are programmed exactly how to fly in that space. Using a very similar technology, this is the same way that we'll actually be able to use suppressant drones to have a very predetermined operational plan, which will actually be set through the actual surveillance UAV.
so this is like a circle, like feeding kind of, the surveillance drone will keep giving real-time almost information to operation command, and they will be updating the plan for those drones. How?
I mean, that's exactly correct. And so we're actually looking at that. We're looking at something that's actually not in terms of the more complicated web swarm technologies, but much more sort of the display technologies which allow setting of an operation and then setting of another operation, setting of another operation.
And they would go back, they will change their batteries and
That's correct. So, as we saw on this previous slide, going here. So when we're really looking at it, when we're actually looking at, so we're talking about being able to fly at 50 kilometers an hour for 16 kilometers and carrying 10 liters of suppressant, which is 10 kilos. So at the point when we're seeing here, if they're actually flying out, so they'd be coming back to refill and recharge and to continue out. So We've also looked at this in terms of steep elevation. So if you're actually looking to travel 2,000 feet up a mountainside, that will require more power, but once again, being able to come back, re-energize, and go back again. So each suppressant UAV will actually come with three batteries, which will be able to recharge every 40 minutes. So every 20 minutes will be a fresh battery.
That's all the time we have for the questions for Greg today, but please do see him at the back here. I see he's got his poster of the UAV on the back there as well. So give it up for Greg. Thank you. All right, so those were all of the presentations that we had for this evening. Just want to give one last big round of applause to all of the entrepreneurs that came out today to present. So let's give it up. Some really, really interesting companies. Perfect. All right, so we've got the interest form. I see a couple of phones going up, so I'll leave it there for another second. So again, the feedback is really, really helpful for these entrepreneurs, and we will connect you if you show your interest online. Of course, you can connect directly with them during networking, which we'll be getting to in just a moment here. But I do want to let Mike Volker say a few words about the capital raise that we have going on at What If Capital right now. So I will let you take it away, and we'll get those slides up.
Thanks, Aaron. So what you see, Aaron, come back here. So Aaron and I are in this together. So what you see here is the old and the wise and the young and the smart, not necessarily in that order. So I want to tell you a little bit about What If, and I look around the room here and I see that there's at least a dozen of you in the room that are already investors in What If. We've been around for quite a long time, and we've supported over 150 companies that have come through VANTEC and through other venues. And we want to see if, we want to invite you to join the party. What's unique about VANTEC, and I think this is the key to success in angel investing, and that's to have a big portfolio. All of the studies show that to win at angel investing, you need to have many, many companies in your portfolio. Having just 10 or 12 is very risky and very dangerous. At the moment, I mentioned we have invested in over 150 companies. We've had quite a number of exits. We've had 24 very successful outcomes. We still have over 80 active companies. So when you invest, you're investing in an existing portfolio plus an expanding portfolio, because we continue to invest on a monthly basis. In fact, in many of the companies like the ones you've seen here this afternoon. Here's an example of some of the companies just that we've got in the portfolio presently. So quite a few, and so if you missed opportunities, for example, to get into companies like General Fusion or Carbonet, this is the way to get into those companies. We had a really big exit last year with Carbon Engineering that was doing carbon capture in Squamish. That was an exit of 2.1 billion, and we participated in that one. We're presently offering shares at $27.50 a share, 1,000 shares minimum, and of course you get the 30% refundable tax credit. We're an evergreen fund, which means that you can come and go whenever you like, and typically every 5 years. Although 5 years is a suggested hold period to get the tax credit, it doesn't mean that you have to hold your shares for 5 years. You can actually sell them at any time you want. However, the company, the fund, will redeem them typically every 5 years when we have an exit. So whenever we have an exit, you have the opportunity to redeem your shares. You can cash in. And one interesting thing that we do that you can't get with a GPLP structure is that we redeem your shares tax-free. So there's no gain that you pay on the redemption. So in addition to getting the lucrative tax credits going in, you pay no tax coming out, which is a real big bonus. And I can explain that to you more if you're interested in learning more about that. So that said, please talk to Aaron and me. We want to increase the fund. As I said, it's evergreen. We want to see this continue forever and ever and be a source of capital for local entrepreneurs, and to be a vehicle for you as investors to broaden your portfolio and co-invest with us and do business with us as we support these companies. Thanks.
All right, fantastic. Thank you all so much. We have our event in January. Just want to note that it's on January 8th because the first Wednesday is the 1st and we wouldn't do that to you. So we've got that on the 8th at SFU Venture Labs. We're going back to SFU Venture Labs, excited to do so. And so it's at 3:30 to 6:30. And thank you all so much for coming. We've got a great spread provided by Bottles and Bottega. So please stick around, network, and thanks so much.